Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 1, Shameless Door. Chapter 1, Shameless Door-to-Door. Yi Yaodong stood in the corner of the room with his head bulging, no cigarette, only a straw in his mouth, looking at his uncle and second uncle, who were arguing with his father and two older brothers, blushing and slapping the table crack. He couldn't even figure it out. Wasn't he invited to be a boatman to run a big ship, and he went to pee on the deck on a whim, but a wave hit him and fell into the sea to die? Why did you wake up this morning and go back to 1982? Fucking amazing. He still hasn't come to his senses. Even his father caught a net of large yellow croakers, which can't surprise him. It's really too big a surprise to be reborn to be 25 years old. I'm already 65, and it's been 40 years, and I've rejuvenated to 25 years old. Really, really, really good. It's coming back. It's a pity, after his death, the ship owner will definitely have to pay $1 million, which is cheaper for the two boys in the family. I don't know whether they cried or laughed after receiving the news. Third son, don't forget that father left that boat. It's just that our mother chose to live with you in the old age, so I left it for you to use. Our brothers already have a share, and the big yellow croaker has to be sold for the money. We are brothers. Yeah, third, you've caught a net of large yellow croakers now, so you're hardened, aren't you? Dad left the boat, and everyone has a share. You can't disregard brotherhood and take it all by yourself. Uncle Yi and Uncle Yi shouted at the top of their voices, each saying a sentence, causing Father Yi to stare in anger. Bullshit, it's true that the boat was left by Dad, but at that time the boat was almost scrapped, and the machine was broken. You didn't want it yourself. You wanted to share the cash, so you threw the broken boat to me. They said that the broken boat still had 3,000 nails, and it can be sold for a lot of money. Mother will come with me, let me take advantage of this. I'm the youngest. I couldn't compete, so I suffered a dumb loss. What's the matter? Seeing that I have repaired the boat little by little in the past 2 years, are you greedy again? There is no door. I spent all my money on this boat, so I came here after getting off to a good start. You all ran to the door to ask for money. What about your face? Uncle Yi frowned and said, Third son, you really took advantage of the distribution of father's inheritance. This boat is father's relic. We want mother to live with you, so we leave the boat to you, and we can also give it to you. Mother, think about it, otherwise, wouldn't it be better if we sold the boat for a cent? That's a good sounding idea, let me think about it. How much do you think it's worth when you sell it as junk? The wooden planks on it are worthless, and the iron is only a few cents a caddy. Just throw it to me, and you will lose one of your property. Uncle, everyone was there when Grandpa passed away. It was agreed a long time ago that you will share the money and my father will share the broken boat. I was willing to sell the boat, so I didn't say that I sold the boat and everyone shared the cash together, and admitted this dumb loss. It was Yi Yaodong's eldest brother, Yi Yaopeng, who spoke, but as soon as he spoke, he was by his uncle. We adults talk, why don't you, Junior, interrupt? Why can't I talk about my family's money? The family has been separated for a long time. Uncle and uncle can come to ask for a share of the money from selling fish in my family. I am not allowed to speak. This is a matter for the elders, you have no place to speak. Yi Yaodong stood in a corner and his head hurt from hearing it. He frowned and spit out the straw in his mouth. He stepped forward and put his elbow on his uncle's shoulder. He said in a naughty way, Uncle, what you said is too much, this is our family, why don't my elder brother have the right to talk? The big yellow croaker is also on my father's net. Did you and my second uncle go out to sea together? Where do you have the face to come to the door and ask for money? Are you big enough? Let's go out and talk, call everyone in the village, and call the village chief to judge and see if we have to give you money. If the big guys say that our family's score cannot be monopolized, my father is very particular about people, and he will definitely say nothing. Yi Yaodong hooked his uncle's neck directly and walked out of the house. It was only his father who wanted to save face, cared about his brotherhood, and didn't want to tear himself apart, yet he managed to follow him for so long. It was he who blasted out a long time ago, who is he, shameless and shameless. However, it is his uncle and second uncle, he can't beat him anymore, he can only use his mouth, pull it out and talk. Uncle Yi was short, only in his early 160s, and Yi Yaodong was 180, his neck was stuck under his armpit. Uncle Yi couldn't break free even if he wanted to, so he could only stagger and walk out. "Let go, are you so unscrupulous to grab my neck? I am your uncle. Uncle, those who want to blackmail my family are my enemies, let's go out and talk." He deeply remembers when he was young, but he was in the village, idle around all day long, hanging out with friends and not doing business, and fighting was commonplace, but he restrained himself after getting married. Dragging the elders like this, no one thinks it's outrageous to speak rudely, but it's quite normal. However, he is still his uncle, after decades of experience, he is not such a anymore, this action is really not good looking. Yi Yaodong let go of his hand, changed to pulling, and dragged his uncle to the gate. Yi Yaoping breathed a sigh of relief, the third child finally made a move, and he didn't know what was going on. The third child actually looked at him in a daze this morning, without saying a word, and has been silent until now. He would have lost his temper in the past. How can the uncle and the uncle talk for so long? Folks, come quickly, Second Uncle Yi hurriedly covered Yi Yaodong's mouth, and said with an awkward smile, "Yaodong, I came to your uncle's door just to discuss with your father. After all, everyone's life is very sad, and it's normal for my brother to pull it off." "Yes, we are discussing with your father. How can we talk about our own family affairs outside casually? Please let me go, let's go in and talk about it." Uncle Yi himself felt wronged. If he said this in front of the villagers, they wouldn't have the face. After all, the family has been separated for 2 years. Yi Yaodong pulled away his second uncle's hand covering his mouth. "What are you talking about when you enter the room? I just heard you slapping the table and arguing early in the morning. It hurts my head, so let's talk outside. Let everyone listen, do you understand? Folks, Third son, don't you care about your son?" Second Uncle Yi stared at Father Yi. "Humph. Now that I know that my family's ugliness should not be publicized, it's better to come out and let the villagers judge, otherwise people who don't know will think that I have taken advantage of it." At this time, the neighbors also gathered around after hearing the sound, looking at the Yi family brothers curiously. "What's the matter? Didn't you sell more than 200 caddies of large yellow croakers yesterday? Aren't you happy? What's wrong with you guys? Yaodong is fighting again. What did Yaodong do this time? They are all married and have children, why are you so ignorant?" Yi Yaodong is also speechless. It seems that his image of a is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. If there is anything, the finger will be pointed at him. He frowned, and said in a sultry way, "I didn't cause trouble this time, don't blame me, there are people who are shameless." "Ah, nothing. It's a good thing to get the big yellow croaker online. We were just curious about how we got it online, so we came here to ask and chat. Yao Dongfei said that the room is too hot, so it would be cool to ask us to come out and talk." Uncle Yi interrupted him, and dealt with the neighbor with a smile. Bo Yi also laughed awkwardly and said, "Hee, we've finished talking, and mother is also going to the field and is not at home. Brother, let's go back first." "Well, go back first. Newcomers and new books, please bear with me if there is anything wrong, and show mercy. Please bookmark, please read to the latest chapter, thank you very much." End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 2, How much did the big yellow croaker sell for? Chapter 2, How much did the big yellow croaker sell for? This matter is really not easy to bring up. When the old man held the funeral 2 years ago, the neighbors came to help, but they all knew how they divided the inheritance. It's been 2 years since the division was completed, and there was no objection for so long. Seeing Father Yi earning a lot of money, he jumped out suddenly, and it's really not nice to say it. If Ye's father and mother are willing to share some of their money, then no one else can control them. If they are not willing, it's really hard for them to say that they want to share the money in front of outsiders. Uncle Yi and Second Uncle Yi were about to leave, but Yi Yaodong didn't stop him, he just let them go. Whether they will come or not, he is not afraid of them coming again. If his father didn't nod, could they still dig it out from their house? Even if his father agrees, the 3 brothers are still not happy. Why? Neighbors dispersed when they saw that there was no excitement. Yi Yaodong clapped his hands and turned to his father, and the whole family said, "Okay, let's go back to the house." As soon as he lifted his leg, a little radish head wobbled and rushed over, hugged his thigh, bared 2 millet teeth and called sweetly, "Daddy, hug." When his father and they were arguing just now, all the women in the family took the younger children back to the house, so as not to be frightened. When the movement moved to the door, they also came out with their children. Looking at such a cute and tender little cub, Yi Yaodong didn't associate him with his dark second son in the previous life at all. Pinched his face, picked him up, carried him into his arms, and carried him into the house. He hadn't had breakfast yet. Sleep until the sun is high before getting up for breakfast, and there is no one in the whole family except him. The whole family is also used to it. Yi Yaodong was spoiled by the old lady, so he couldn't lift his shoulders, his hands, and didn't do anything. He just idled around and played around all day long. It's also a shame that he didn't work hard. His skin is delicate and tender, and he doesn't look like a seaside person at all, so he can tell a family by face. Otherwise, such a lazy person is still a bum, but no woman would marry. As soon as he stepped over the threshold, Yi Yaodong saw a beautiful woman with short hair walking towards him. "Here's my son, you go and eat, the food is hot in the pot." Indifferent, his attitude couldn't be called warm, and he felt a little uncomfortable. This is his wife, named Lin Xiuqing, who is the same age as him and lives in the next town. Because people from all over the world knew that he was idle and did not work. When he was 20 years old, his parents were afraid that he would not be able to find a wife nearby, so they asked someone to introduce him to someone farther away. They met on a blind date, and his wife really liked his face, so she agreed directly, but not long after getting married, she also discovered his true face, is just a lazy bastard. Originally, Lin Xiuqing was full of joy when she first got married, but she gradually became more and more disappointed in him, but she didn't get divorced. Divorce is a very embarrassing thing these days. Some women are beaten and scolded by their husbands, but they never think about getting a divorce. Women in the family have to be beaten if they are disobedient. This seems to be a common problem. Fortunately, he doesn't beat his wife, he's just lazy and doesn't do serious things. If she works harder, she can live on. Because of this, his wife has worked hard to support him for 30 years. At the age of 50, I got bowel cancer and had no money to treat the disease, so I died at a young age. When she was sick and helpless lying on the hospital bed, he was very flustered, and when she was gone, he was at a loss. The whole family was supported by her. When she was gone, he realized that his world was dark, but life had to go on. Because of this, at the age of 50, he only started working to earn money. Although he has never done any work, he is a seaside man, and his family members are all in the sea. It is no problem to hire a boatman to run a big boat. Unexpectedly, it was only a dozen years, and he could not escape the fate of short life. It's just, I don't know if he has accumulated virtue in his previous life, and he can start over again. After so long, he had already somewhat forgotten what his wife looked like. He felt uncomfortable hearing her indifferent words now, and stared at her for a long time. She frowned. "Why are you standing there? Give me the child." It's okay, let me hold it, have you all eaten?" Lin Xiuqing was surprised. Ever since the eldest son on him, he never hugged the child again. Today, for the first time, he wanted to hug the younger son, but she didn't stop him if he wanted to. "Have eaten." Yi Yaodong followed her into the house with the child in his arms, and saw her bring out a bowl of shredded sweet potato porridge and a small dish of mustard from the earthen stove. As soon as he put the child down and picked up the chopsticks, he heard his father say, "Your uncles are greedy, and the principle of not revealing your wealth is right." Sitting beside Yi Yaodong, Yi Yaoping frowned and said, "We have no choice but to show it." When the boat arrives at the pier, everyone has seen the golden yellow croakers, and the villagers also saw all the stacks of great unity they gave when they bought it, arrive. What are you afraid of? What are you worried about? The money is in our pockets, how could it be poached by them? Yi Yaodong said indifferently as he picked up a piece of mustard, biting into it crisply. Father is afraid that if there is a real quarrel, it will hurt the brotherhood with the uncle and the second uncle. The second child, Yi Yaohua, is speaking, and he looks a bit honest. Father Yi didn't answer. He held a handful of shredded tobacco with his fingers, and pressed it into the round hole where the shredded tobacco was placed in the hookah, then picked up the matchbox, took out a match from it, and drew it on the side. A pinch of small flames lit up, and Father Yi brought the match close to the hole in the tobacco thread, and smoked it slowly. The hookah pipe made a sound. It wasn't until smoke came out of his mouth and nose, and he looked around, that he opened his mouth and said, "Where are you, Grandma?" At this time, Mother Yi opened her mouth and said, "Mother went out early in the morning. She probably went to the roadside at the entrance of the village to see if the corn and melons she planted are ripe. I heard her talking about the corn and melons last night. They are probably edible. A few small ones to satisfy my hunger. It's 80 years old, and I can't stay idle." Yi Yaodong pulled a small bowl of shredded sweet potato porridge into it, put down the bowl and chopsticks, interrupted his father's words with a swipe of his mouth, and ordered a few nephews and nieces who seemed to be 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. "You little ones, go to the roadside at the entrance of the village to see if your aunt is in the field, and bring her back. Haven't seen him for decades, he still blames his grandmother who loves him the most." "Okay, third uncle." The children were all obedient and ran out excitedly, hula la, and they didn't think the sun was too big. The children in the country are very skinny. They go up and down the mountain all day long, and they don't need adults to watch them. Now that it's summer vacation, they can play like crazy. The grown-ups of this age are running around for their livelihood and food rations, so there is no time to control them, and they all follow them to run around the village. After instructing a few younger ones, he saw his wife coming to collect the dishes. He smiled at her, and then looked at his father. "Father, how much did you sell for that net of large yellow croakers yesterday?" Father Yi glanced at the confused third son, and remained silent. He said it all yesterday and even asked, but he didn't know what he was up to. Yi Yaodong. He really doesn't remember. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 3, Heartache Wow. Chapter 3, Heartache Wow. In the previous life, I just had fun with my friends, and didn't care about what happened at home. Woke up and went out to hang out with friends, and came back drunk at dinner, only remembered to catch a large yellow croaker, and he didn't hear the price clearly, so he went back to sleep in a daze. Although large yellow croakers are rare these days, the standard of living of ordinary people is limited, and they are not very expensive. It is only several times more expensive than ordinary fish. Unlike later generations, they have been fired at sky-high prices. In 2022, the price of a catty of wild large yellow croaker will be 600 yuan per catty. The price of wild large yellow croaker with 3 tails per catty is about 800 yuan per catty. The price of wild large yellow croaker with 8 tails per catty is more than 1,000 yuan per catty. If the price is about 2 catties, the price is about 1,500 to 1,600 yuan per catty. If the weight is more than 2 catties, generally more than 3,000 yuan per catty. This is the price charged directly by the fresh harvesting ship at sea. Once it enters the port, the price of 1 to 2 catties of large yellow croaker will double. If the quantity is large, the price will also fluctuate. Although he does not seek to make progress, he is a bit of a mess, but he is also a native fisherman, and he still knows what he has. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but slapped his thigh. It would be great if he could pull this net decades later. Blood loss of millions. All Ye's family members frowned, watching him slap his thigh strangely, with regret on their faces. What the is wrong with the third child? Mother Yi frowned and couldn't help asking, "What are you doing, third child? Okay, why are you slapping your thigh so hard? Did you take the wrong medicine?" "Mother, how much did we sell for that net of large yellow croakers yesterday?" "I didn't hear clearly yesterday, so I went back to sleep." Ye's mother glanced at Ye's father. Anyway, the whole family knew it. If she didn't say anything, the third daughter-in-law would say it when she returned home, so she just said directly, 1,200 yuan. It was bought for 5 yuan a catty, and it was a little bit short. Said, the boss is also generous and directly counts as an integer. I was taken advantage of, and even praised his generosity. Yi Yaodong beat his chest and stomped his feet. "Mother, do you know that you are losing money, blood loss? In the room, men, women, and children all frowned and looked at each other. The boss couldn't help but asked impatiently, how do you know we lost money? I hang out all day, how can I not know how valuable the big yellow croaker is? That's true, don't look at the third child as a bit of a jerk, but he is still the most knowledgeable in the whole family. Wandering around the city with a group of people all day long, knowing a bunch of people of various religions, can you not be knowledgeable? Mother Yi also felt nervous, what do you mean? How much does it sell for a caddy outside? The fish in our village has always been bought by the wharf. It was because our amount was too large yesterday that the wharf contacted a boss directly. Receive. If you pack some ice cubes and send them to the county town by a tractor, you can directly double the amount. Yi Yaodong's heart ached so much, in fact, it was doubled, and in future generations, more than 200 caddies would be worth millions. Hearing what he said, everyone regretted it in their hearts, being hasty, doubled. This is directly short of 1,200 yuan, heartache. Father Ye's heart was also bleeding, and the hand holding the hookah trembled, 1,200 yuan. Now the wages of ordinary workers are only 40 to 50 a month. I really want to vomit blood. Father Ye's chest was heaving and he scolded him directly, you bastard, you wander around all day and don't do business. If you go to sea with us, we won't just sell it for 5 yuan a caddy. It's none of my business. I didn't know you could catch big yellow croakers. If I knew, I would have gone to the pier and waited. No, I would have found a rich boss to wait at the pier in advance. Really mad, more than 200 caddies of wild large yellow croaker. If he died one day earlier, would he be able to be reborn one day earlier? Ah bah. I curse myself. Father Ye's chest was heaving with anger, and in the end he could only sigh, forget it, I've sold everything, and there's nothing to regret. Maybe our family's fortune is only so much for the time being. If you get it later, you will have experience. I won't sell it so hastily again. Yeah, it's all sold, and it's useless to regret it now. The family's good mood ended directly at Yi Yaodong's hands. Originally, Uncle Yi and Uncle Yi came to the door to share a share, but they were depressed for a while, but they were still in a good mood. Now, I just feel it's a pity, because I could have sold it for more money. After a while of heartache, the whole family accepted it calmly, and they made a fortune after all. Yi Yaodong was the most depressing. Father, do you think big yellow croakers are Chinese cabbage? Next time you catch them, you will have experience. Don't you know that the number of large yellow croakers has dropped sharply after being knocked on the goo cloth several times, and it is almost invisible now? In 1954, the method of knocking knuckles was spread from Guangdong province to Fujian province. Because this method of fishing is very efficient and the output is huge, it was promoted directly in a short period of time. Large yellow croakers were caught in large quantities. In 1974, Zhoushan, Zhejiang province carried out a super-large-scale fishing, which almost made the large yellow croaker go extinct. In recent years, wild yellow croaker has hardly been seen in the market. Father, do you think you still have this luck in your life? It's harder than winning the lottery. The boat left by his grandfather is only a dozen meters long, and can only go to the sea, not too far. To be able to catch this large yellow croaker is really smoke from the ancestral grave. When the family listened to his eloquent and spitting words, they were also taken aback by him. The third child, when did the third child know so much? Knocking method, only Father Yi heard about it. After all, their family does not have a big boat to go to sea to work. Now the information is not circulating, even the eldest and the second have never heard of it, but the third actually speaks clearly and logically. Immediately, the parents, brothers and sisters-in-law present couldn't help but look at him differently. Perhaps. Isn't the third child so useless? Lin Shuqing was stunned. For the first time, she discovered that her husband's appearance when he was talking seriously turned out to be quite, so what? The brilliance between the brows, is it when talking about familiar things, exuding the light of confidence? Or, her man is not so useless. Father Yi also put aside his contempt for his third son, and rarely asked seriously, how do you know the kung fu method? How do you know what happened in 1954 and what happened in 1974? Ye's father has only heard of the knocking method, but he doesn't know about the major fishing incidents that occurred in the past 20 years from 1954 to 1974. After all, the internet is underdeveloped and information is not circulating. Yi Yaodong actually learned about these things only after listening to other crew members talking about them when he was running a big ship. Otherwise, just because he was lazy and a waste of food in the first half of his life, how could he pay attention to these things? But he can't miss the bottom line. Looking at everyone's expressions, he also knew that he had saved a little image, which was considered a good thing, so he couldn't help but straighten up a little. Having been muddled for half of his life, he will grow up and mature in the next 10 years and have a little responsibility. Once again, he doesn't want to be a waste. Although he still doesn't have much ability, at least he can work, can surf the sea, and if he is diligent, he should be able to support his wife and children. He no longer wants to rely on his wife for support. But it takes time to change, otherwise he might be regarded as a ghost. The price of yellow croaker is inflated compared to that time. At the end of chapter 33, there is a brief explanation. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 4, Love from an Old Lady. Chapter 4 From the Old Lady's Love. Hearing his father's question, Yi Yaodong cast a sidelong glance at him, shook his legs and said casually, "You don't know, doesn't mean I don't know either. It's not for nothing that I'm out all the time." Originally, I wanted to ask him a few serious questions, but when Father Yi heard this, he became angry. "You have to wear a harp because you're wandering around outside all day long. People who are married to their daughters-in-law and don't stay at home all day, lazy, doing nothing, waiting for who will support you. Kill you coffin, prodigal bastard." The more he talked, the angrier he got. Father Yi took off his shoes while talking, and stepped forward to beat him up. Originally sold the big yellow croaker cheaply, Father Yi was upset, and now he just seized the opportunity to vent his anger. Hey, you can change your face when you say it. Isn't it just talking? What did I say to me? Dad. If you have something to say, talk well. In summer, the smell from the Jifang shoes rushed towards him, and Yi Yaodong's face changed drastically when he was frightened. His own smelly feet doesn't mean he can smell other people's feet. He hurriedly stood up to avoid it in a panic. "Father, what are you doing? You're holding a stick anyway, what's the matter with shoes? Don't hide if you have the guts, you will be angry every day, your grandson is better than you, let's live a good life, but, fooling around with a group of people all day, how did I give birth to such a coffin like you?" The two of you chased each other to hide. The main room was originally not big, but now there were so many people. Yi Yaodong jumped right behind his mother. "Mom, look, my dad was drunk so early in the morning, what did I say? Don't let him drink today." Who knows that Mother Yi turned her head and slapped him a few times angrily. "Your father is right, you don't go home every day, and you don't know what happens at home. Let's see how you will support your wife and children in the future." Yi Yaodong couldn't resist the double fight between his parents, so he quickly lifted up the wooden stool next to him to resist. Don't fight, whoever beats his son early in the morning, can't he talk properly if he has something to say? How many people? Can't you save some face for him? He also needs face. Fortunately, the juniors were kicked out by him, otherwise it would be ugly. In fact, everyone in the room is already familiar with it. It is common for Yi Yaodong to be criticized and beaten. It's just that he suddenly came back after 40 years, and he is not used to being beaten and scolded by his parents. He held up a stool in the main room to resist the blow, but found that his mother had already picked up the broom, which was the kind of bamboo stick, so he hurriedly put down the stool and ran outside the house. "If you don't leave at this time, when will you wait? Avoid the limelight first, and come back after his parents have calmed down." Who knew that they ran into a few nephews and nieces as soon as they ran out? The children were unprepared. After being bumped, they fell to the ground. Even his grandma was implicated, and she couldn't stand up and sat down. Now he was a little panicked, and hurried to help his grandmother up. "Grandma, are you okay? Where did you fall? Does it hurt?" Although he is a bit of a jerk, he still has a conscience. The old lady loves him the most. Seeing her fall, he didn't care to dodge. Father Yi and Mother Yi came out after him and saw it, and they were even more relentless. The soles of the shoes and the broomstick directly slapped his buttocks and thighs, cursing. "You coffin, you don't have eyes when you walk. I'll break your dog legs to see if you're still running." Father Yi slapped the sole of his shoe a few times, still not relieved, grabbed the stick from Mother Yi, and beat him hard. A few sticks. Ye's father's hand strength is not comparable to that of Ye's mother. After all, Ye's mother still loves her son, and she doesn't use much force when hitting someone. Father Yi was different, he was really annoyed, very angry. When he hit his leg with a stick, he groaned in pain. How can the old lady see her precious grandson being beaten? So she quickly put him behind her. "What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you going to hit me? What the hell, whoops, my son is going to beat his old lady, and I will eat explosives in the morning." Father Yi looked at the old lady with a headache, but he didn't touch her. "Mother, how dare I hit you? I want to hit this bastard." Dongzi was just careless. "I didn't blame him. Is it your turn to hit him? Hurry up and put away the broom for me and go into the house. It's not a shame to lose it." Even though the old lady is 80 years old, her body looks very tough. She is neither deaf nor blind, and she is full of vigor when training people. Father Yi is a filial man. Seeing the old lady came back, he also knew that his son would not be able to fight again today, so he gave Yi Yaodong a hard look, threw the broom into the corner of the door and entered the house. "Don't be afraid, Grandma is here. Is there any pain? Show me." As the old lady was about to lift his trousers, he reached out his hand to stop him, supported her arm and grinned. "I'm fine. Did you hurt from the fall just now? Is there any discomfort?" No, I'm fine. Mom, Dongzi is 25, not a child anymore. He is already the father of 2 children. You can't spoil him like this anymore. He doesn't study well all day long, he doesn't do any work, he's so useless. Why don't you learn? Isn't he very filial? How promising do you want him to be? As long as the children are safe and healthy in our country, people. Besides, Dongzi has never done anything like stealing chickens and dogs, so he will embarrass you. Yi Yaodong was very ashamed. According to the old lady, not even doing sneaky things had become his advantage. The old lady has really low requirements for him. After so many years, and after saying it dozens of times, Mother Yi is also very tired. In the eyes of the old lady, the third son is good everywhere. Really spoiled by the old lady. The eldest brother and the second child are so hard-working, they were really off, and they gave the third son a hard look, and Yimu didn't say anything. Anyway, after all these years, what they say is useless. A group of children picked up the scattered corn, courgettes and put them into bamboo baskets. Seeing that the old lady didn't fall down, and was still able to protect her, Mother Yi took the basket, took out the corn and peeled it, and put the cabbage melon with green flour peel back into the basket. Take it in and ask your mother to wash it and cut it up for you to eat. Leave one for your third uncle, don't eat them all. The old lady yelled, for fear that her great-grandchildren and great-granddaughters would eat all the melons and not keep it for her grandson. Yi Yaodong's heart was filled with his grandma's love, and he felt a little excited. I haven't felt it for decades, this feeling is so good. Everyone thinks that there is nothing wrong with him. Even his parents don't like him every day. Only his grandmother has always loved him the most. She always wants to keep a bite for him, and she suddenly feels mixed feelings. I'll help you in. Why are you still farming when you're old? What if you fall down? The old lady wrinkled her face with a smile. It's so easy to fall. I'm doing well, I can still do it, and if I can't do it, I can order your father to swing a and water me. Yi Yaodong smiled. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 5, Green Zucchini. Chapter 5, Cabbage Melon with Green Flour Peel. The whole family saw the farce just now. From the beginning to the end, Yi Yaoping told Yi Yaohua that it was a lie that he was not envious. Even their little sister Yi Huimei was also very envious. Although the old lady was very kind to their juniors, she couldn't compare to Yi Yaodong. The old lady had him in her heart. There are 4 brothers and sisters, and more than a dozen cousins. I heard that only he was delivered by grandma himself, and he was born on the beach almost too late. Then as soon as she was born, she smiled at her while holding her in her arms, and immediately got her eyelids, which hurt from childhood to adulthood. As soon as he entered the room, Father Yi was still angry, smoking a hookah and glaring at him. To be honest, he still doesn't understand what he said wrong. Let his parents explode together. Manner? Or the accumulated hatred of iron but not steel? He thought about it in his heart, let's just have these two, otherwise why would his parents be angry? Saigwa, I told you to keep one for Dongzi, did you keep it? As soon as the old lady sat down, she saw a group of children gnawing on a piece of vegetable melon, and asked hurriedly, lest Yi Yaodong didn't eat it. Yi Yaodong's younger sister, Yi Huimei, ate and said, keep it on the stove, third brother can take it by himself. Everyone cut up and ate, only him, alone. Moreover, everyone is not surprised, even the children don't have any opinions, the third uncle is special. Yi Yaodong looked at the vegetable melons with green flowers on the stove. They were oval and only a little longer than an adult's palm. He just saw a few that were very long and big, like a mallet. They were probably cut up and eaten. Leave him the youngest. This is his favorite melon. At this time, many people grow it, and it is very cheap. In later generations, few people grow this variety. They are all white-skinned and round melons. He has not eaten them for many years. He walked towards the earthen stove. The vegetables and melons had been washed clean, and there were still drops of water on them. Looking at the cutting board and kitchen knife on the stove, the juice and seeds were still left. He also put the vegetable melon on it and cut it into large pieces, took a vegetable plate at random, and walked towards his grandma. Grandma, you eat one too. The old lady waved her hand with a smile, I have no teeth, I can't bite, why do you still cut it? Although he really wanted to eat it, he wouldn't enjoy it to himself. There were not many of them in total, and the family had a large population. Seeing that the old lady really had no teeth to chew on, he gave another piece to each of his two children, and another piece to his wife. This behavior made Lin Xiuqing look sideways again. Judging from the past, shouldn't he just pick it up and eat it? Why did he cut it up and share it with everyone? After Lin Xiuqing took it, he took one piece by himself, and put the rest on the table for everyone to pick up. Third brother, have you changed your gender? Can't stop your mouth after eating? Yi Huimei pursed her mouth, not daring to speak anymore. Yi Yaodong looked at the old lady again, and said with a smile, now there is a kind of removable dentures, you can wear them when you eat, you can bite any meat, you can wash them after eating, and you can use them again next time. When I go to the city sometime, I go to the hospital to ask for a pair of them for you, Grandma, so that you can eat meat and you can eat anything. Oh, don't waste that money, half of my body is about to fall into the ground, and porridge with tofu and fermented milk is enough, and I have to eat fast for half a month. You can eat meat on the days when you are not fasting, that's it. I'm already at this age, why do I still eat meat? Fish is not as delicious as meat. We seaside people just eat fish. The old lady had a smile on her old face, but she was actually very happy and very useful. Fish is better than fish, and meat is better. Let's eat both. Everyone in the room watched their interaction, thinking to themselves, the youngest has a bit of conscience towards the old lady, and it is not in vain that the old lady loves him so much. Mother Yi came in after peeling the corn husks, and Mrs. Yi greeted her, Mother, let me cook. It's okay, I'll come, you go and watch the children. The old lady looked at Father Yi and said, I saw that the silk of the corn is black and it is almost ripe. In 2 days, you can break the corn cob with me, so as not to let it grow in the ground for too long. It is too old and it is not good to eat. Father Yi stared at him with the hookah, I don't have time, the boat has just been repaired, and taking advantage of the abundance of newcomers, I have to take the boss and the second to go out to see a few more times to see if I can get another big one. Ryu is idle, you ask him to bring a few small ones, and just pick them up after breaking them. It's no wonder he can move. He doesn't see anyone all day long. I'll take the children to accompany the mother to break it. Mother Yi grabbed a handful of straw, took a match to ignite the fire, and threw it into the stove. Over the phone. As soon as he said that the third child could not pick, Father Yi thought of the fact that the brigade had arranged for him to pick millet a few years ago, but he ended up picking the ditch, and was half dead in anger. What's the use, such a big person can't even pick up millet and corn, but he can also pick it into the ditch, making people laugh. Yi Yaodong. It's all about the rotten millet, and his father can remember it so well, although he was indeed a little useless when he was young. However, when he was reborn, he planned to change his mind and behave himself. Lin Xiuqing felt that it was not good for him to be her own man, being rejected by her own father in front of so many people, so she quickly changed the topic to save Yi Yaodong. Mom, the first day of junior high school will be in 2 days. The tide has receded a lot recently. Don't we have to go to the sea? It's okay, don't delay, there are such a large group of children, let the third child take them to break the corn cobs, tell me when they are broken, and I will pick them. Yi Yaodong didn't say a word, and the matter was already arranged for him. In fact, he wanted to say that he could. But he swallowed it back again, and he couldn't be in a hurry to express it, lest it be too abnormal, just pick it back when the time comes. Because they were poor and couldn't afford to build a house, they never separated, and the whole family ate and drank together. It's just that each house collects the money earned by doing casual labor and fishing nets by itself, and because it relies on the sea to eat the sea, and the seaside products are rich, and it doesn't need to spend much money to eat and drink. There is no big contradiction. And his father used all his earnings to repair the boat, so it was left by his father. Repairing a boat is more cost-effective than building or buying one. Seaside people, who doesn't want to have a boat at home, can sail to go fishing, and improve their family life. Father Yi is also eager, so he has been making money to repair the boat for the past 2 years. Now that the boat is repaired and ready to go to sea, of course he has to work hard to take the 2 boys in the family to go fishing. Anyway, the third child is not cured, and when the family conditions improve, he can be pulled out at that time. The old lady saw that the whole family was busy, and even the third child was sent to work, so she hurriedly said, "There is no rush to break the corn, and there is nothing wrong with a few days later, just breaking a basket every day to satisfy everyone's hunger, and breaking it all at once is not new, gone." Mother Yi didn't even turn her head, she just stared at the fire in the stove. "Just don't worry, it's not worth a lot anyway, so don't set up a stall to sell it, just eat a little bit every day, if you are too old, you can eat it. Keep it as a seed, and we'll turn it over for you when it's empty." End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 6, Build a House. Chapter 6, Building a House. The old lady has always been very concerned about the little things she planted. If she doesn't listen to her, she can say it several times a day, so she feels sorry for the third child. She wants to take back all the corn, and she also wants to sell some money. She also wants to save more private money while she is alive, so that when she dies, she can also leave some money to her grandchildren. Father Yi knocked out the burnt tobacco from the hookah, looked at the children and grandchildren gathered in the room, and originally wanted to talk about what he discussed with Mother Yi last night, but was robbed. "Grandma, not long after you left the house in the morning, the uncle and the second uncle came to ask for money. Suing must be sued. Complainant, Yi Hui Mei. The family managed to make a fortune, and the uncle came to the door shamelessly to ask for a share of the money. It's not easy to go outside and tell her. Grandma must tell her here." The children in the room also said in unison, "Yes, Grandma, the grandpa and grandpa are really fierce." They even slapped the table and stared. "Still scolding my father, don't allow him to interrupt." Hearing the twittering was so painful, Yi Yaodong waved at the children, Go, what's the matter with you, go out and play for me, don't stay here and get in the way." Slightly. A few children stuck out their tongues, grimaced and ran out to have fun. It happened that the vegetables were finished, and they didn't want to stay at home and listen to the adults. Before going out, everyone didn't forget to shout at Mother Yi, "Grandma, call us when the corn is ready." The old lady didn't raise her eyelids the whole time, and everyone would be jealous when she suddenly got such a large amount of money. The palm of the hand is flesh, and the back of the hand is also flesh. She just said indifferently, "Don't worry about them, each family lives their own life, and no one should be jealous." Father Yi responded, but didn't say much. He didn't want to tell the old lady at first, so as not to upset her. Anyway, the money is in his hands, and no one will go. Glancing at the son and daughter-in-law in the room, he said seriously, I discussed with your mother last night, since we have money, we plan to build a house for you brothers, and then divide the family. Every family. The house they live in now is still left by the old man, because Uncle Yi and Uncle Yi got married first, and after they got married, the old man built a house for them alone, and separated them to let them move out to live on their own. Because Father Yi was the youngest and the latest to marry, the old man thought that the house would be empty after his death, so he didn't build it again. He only built a hut of less than 10 square meters next to the vegetable field in the backyard, and then made another soil. He planned to take care of himself and the old lady, and leave the house they lived in to Father Yi. Although this house is bigger and has more rooms, there are 4, but it has been repaired for many years, and it is already very old, so Yi Dabo and Yi Erbwa have no objections. Now there are many children and grandchildren in the family, and this house is not enough to live in. For rooms, the 3 brothers and their families each squeezed into one room. Yi Huimei slept in one with Ye's father and Ye's mother, and an extra small bed was added. The 3 brothers except Yi Yaodong are a family of 4, the eldest and the second are a family of 5, the 5 of them live in one room, and share an old-fashioned canopy bed, which shows how crowded it is. Eat meals must be set at a large round table, and women have to stand to eat. This is not discrimination, but mainly because they cannot sit down. The women in the family sit down to eat after the children are fed. Both Ye's father and Ye's mother saw it, and wanted to separate the family for a long time, so that the sons could live their own lives, but they couldn't afford to build a house because they didn't have the money at hand. After the separation, they still had to live together, with only one stove. Eating and drinking are also inseparable, and there is no difference between having points and not having points. Catching large yellow croakers this time made a fortune, which is also an opportunity to separate the family. Otherwise, if the family suddenly acquires such a large sum of money, everyone's thoughts will fluctuate. Sure enough, when Mrs. Yi and Mrs. Yi heard about the separation, their eyes lit up. Yi Yaodong was stunned for a moment, and then remembered that in his previous life, his father also built a house when he caught big yellow croakers, but he went out early and returned late every day to hang out with his friends, and he didn't care about it, and he didn't help. Before, he always regretted that he traveled late, missed the big yellow croaker, and didn't think about building a house and dividing the family. Now he heard his father say it, and he remembered it. Boss Yi was surprised and didn't say anything. The tree has big branches, which is normal. Yi Lao Er was a little at a loss. Father, this is good, why do we want to separate? Ah. Before Yi Lao could finish speaking, his wife stabbed him on the elbow. He froze for a moment, glanced at his wife, and stopped talking. Yi Yaodong rolled his eyes. The family belonged to his second elder brother who is the most honest, his second sister-in-law the most considerate, and the two complement each other well. It was his second sister-in-law who disliked him the most. It was his parents who asked everyone to keep the money they earned by themselves. Daily food and drink depended on the production of the fields and washing the sea. Without spending money, this family was able to barely live in harmony for so long, otherwise it would be a catastrophe. The reason? Of course he is holding back. Father Yi glanced at the second child, opened the small round tin box containing the shredded tobacco, and began to pinch the shredded tobacco unhurriedly, saying, if you have money, you don't want to separate the family. You still want to squeeze the whole family together. Together? Pro-fragrance. Now, no one dares to say anything, for fear of getting dirty. Yi Yaodong sat on the stool, crossed his legs and shook, looked at each one of them who clearly longed for it but didn't say anything, so he said fearlessly, okay, Dad, we're all married too, it's time to separate. Yes, building a new house can make it easier to live in. I'm afraid you will starve to death. Father Yi gave him an angry look. Ah, ha. No, I will work hard after the separation. How hard work? The eldest brother and the second brother work hard, I just follow suit. I believe you, ghost. Yi Yaodong. He is serious, but no one believes him. The old lady patted Yi Yaodong reassuringly, and said, the family is separated, and it's good for each to live their own lives. The smell far away is stinky, in fact, it should have been separated long ago. Sitting by the stove, Mother Yi also took up the conversation. The money from selling the big yellow croaker is just used to build a house so that people don't worry about it. If it is not enough, the money earned from going to sea will be added in. Anyway, it will be built for you. Originally, after breakfast, I wanted to talk about it while you were all around, but it was delayed until now. After finishing speaking, he said to Father Yi, "You will go to the commune to ask in a while, and make a decision on buying the foundation. Let's hire someone to build the house as soon as possible." Well, Father Yi looked up at his sons and daughters-in-law. This money is used to build a house, and then all the money earned from going to sea will be added to it. After the house is built, the family will be separated. You don't have any objections? Boss Yi shook his head. "Father, you and Mother can make the decision, we have no objection." Yi Lao also said, "Father, you can figure it out, and we have no objection." The mother-in-law and the family often whispered in their ears at night, and of course they have no objection to being able to separate the family and live their own lives. Yi Huimei is not married yet, she must have lived with her parents, and she is a daughter, so it doesn't matter to her whether the family is separated, she just needs to watch. The matter of using the money to build a house and divide the family is temporarily settled like this. Father Yi took a few more puffs of hookah before going out. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 7, Go to the Beach. Chapter 7, Going to the Beach. After Father Yi went out, Boss Yi and Second Yi also went to the pier to watch the boats. It's almost the first day of the new year, and the tide has receded recently. If the boat runs aground, they won't be able to go out to sea tonight. They have to take a look, park the boat outside, and buy a barrel of diesel fuel on the boat. They still have to take advantage of their luck to go out to sea at night. The large yellow croaker they caught yesterday was really exciting. They wished they could go right now, but no, the time was too short, and returning after a while would only waste diesel money. The woman in the family also sat at the door with a fishing net and started making fishing nets every day. The difference is that today they are extraordinarily motivated. After the house is built, they can live in a new house separately. No one is happy. Lin Shuqing was also very happy. When her lips and teeth were still bumping, not to mention between her sister-in-law, she also wanted to have her own little home. When she weaved a fishing net, her movements became faster. Their fishing village is called Baisha Village, which is far away from the county seat. It takes more than an hour to walk on the mountain road. The women have to take care of the family, so they can't go out to work to earn money. The only way to make money is to make fishing nets. Although this job is cheap, it is easy and can be done at home. All the women on the beach can weave fishing nets and mend the nets, while the men in the village mostly go out to do part-time jobs or farmland, and those with boats go out to sea to fish. This is relatively rare. Lin Shuqing has been married for a few years and has also learned how to make fishing nets. After all, her man doesn't do anything, so she can only save money by herself. Everyone had work to do, but Yi Yaodong became the most idle one. Even the old lady was helping them thread the needles of the shuttle net. He moved around, squatted beside his wife, picked up the fishing net she wove, and asked curiously, "How many gill nets can you weave a day?" Lin Shuqing glanced at him inexplicably. 5 or 6 photos, the children are crying, and there are too many things to do, there is no way to do more, the elder sister-in-law and the second sister-in-law will do more. Then how much money do you earn this day? A few cents less than 1 yuan. Yi Yaodong glanced at the fishing net in disgust, pursed his mouth, labor is really cheap. Turning his head, he was about to say something when his second son, Yi Qingyang, came up and stuffed the slobbery vegetable melon into his mouth. He was so startled that he sat down on the ground and spit it out quickly. "Ah bah, you disgusting, you can eat it by yourself, and stuff it in my mouth." Mother Yi glanced at him from the side. "My son is filial, and you still despise him." "Mother, don't dislike me, I'll feed you a piece of melon with a mouthful of saliva too." "My son, don't dislike me. Don't be disgusting, how old you are, how old he is, the baby's saliva is also clean. Touching here and there all day long, stuffing everything in his mouth, how clean can it be?" Yi Yaodong patted his buttocks and sat up. Seeing his son going to step on fishing nets to make trouble again, he quickly took him aside. Don't be naughty, naughty to beat me up. Don't scare him, he just knows a little bit about it. It's rare that you didn't run out today, just stay at home and watch the child carefully, let your wife weave more. Li Xiang, the tide is low, stop doing nets, let's go to the sea together. Ye's mother's real name is Chen Li Xiang, and she is the second in the family. She was interrupted before she finished speaking. Looking up, it was her elder sister who told her to go. She belongs to this village and married to this village. Every household has more children these days. There are 400 to 500 households in Baisha village, and half of the village is relatives who are turning corners. It's the first day of junior high school the day after tomorrow. Is there anything to dig today? Although she said so, she still inserted the shuttle net needle into the fishing net and stood up. Go and have a look and you'll know. It won't take long. I heard that someone has already gone. Hurry up. I'll go and have a look first. Hey, good, Mother Yi said to everyone in the yard after answering. Everyone put away the net first, take a spatula and a bucket of tools to have a look together. At this time, most of them verbally called Tao Hai, and few called them Gan Hai. Yi Yaodong was idle anyway, so he followed behind. After being reborn, he hasn't gone out to see their small fishing village yet. Lin Xiuqing hugged her son, and looked at him wonderingly, feeling that he had taken the wrong medicine today. Aren't you going out today? Where are you going? You really want me to go out? She turned her head away. Who would like her husband to idle around playing outside all day? No, just ask casually. I don't want to go out today. I will go to the sea with you to see if I can get anything. I haven't gone to the beach for a while. It's true that I haven't leisurely walked on the beach for a long time. In my previous life, I would only take my grandson to the beach occasionally when I didn't go to sea during the fishing ban. Lin Xiuqing took a look at him, then looked up at the sun shining in the sky, and came out from the west. What a rarity! Yi Yaodong watched her actions, the corners of his mouth twitched. What happened to go to Tao Hai with them? Do it again, he wants to work hard. He turned his head away and stopped talking. He looked at the dilapidated environment around him strangely. After 40 years, he couldn't remember what the village was like in the 1980s. Woke up. The gravel dirt road under your feet is not very easy to walk. If you accidentally fall, you will definitely see blood on your palms and knees. Weeds grow on both sides of the road, and there is a small ditch. There are all low stone bungalows regularly distributed around it. And a 2-story brick and tile house. Brick and tile houses are newly built in recent years. In the past, it was popular to build houses with stones. After 2020, stone houses are rarely seen. Some are also covered with a layer of cement putty powder and sprayed with paint. Up. Oh. Ah. Yi Yao looked around without paying attention to his feet, and accidentally stepped on his wife's heel. Watching her stagger and fall forward, the child almost flew out. He quickly reached out and pulled her, and held her in his arms with the child. Are you okay? What are you doing? You don't look at the road when you walk. It's fine if I fall. What if I drop the child? Lin Xiuqing comforted and patted the child on the back with lingering fear. The child was also very bold, neither crying nor making trouble. Seeing that she was not frightened, she also felt relieved. Sorry, I didn't look carefully. The gravel road is not easy to walk. Give me the child, and I will hug it. It was really the sun that came out from the west, and he even apologized and asked to hold the baby. He started acting abnormally early in the morning until now. Lin Xiuqing gave him a suspicious look. How are you doing today? Yi Yaodong's heart tightened. Sure enough, the person next to your pillow knows you best, so take your time. He put his hands in his pockets, stopped holding the child, and said casually, It's okay, I was opened by my parents, let's go. Lin Xiuqing. What are you looking at? Hurry up and keep up, they are all gone. Oh. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 8, Amoy Sea Digging Sand Clams. Chapter 8, Scouring the Sea and Digging Sand Clams. Their home is not far from the beach, and it takes only 10 minutes to walk there. However, after arriving at the beach, everyone did not go directly to the beach, but continued to walk along the shore to the outside of the pier. There are sand clams that can be dug under the beach, but you need to look for them. Their beach is not small, and sand clams are not distributed in every location, nor can they be dug with just a few shovels. Sand clam is a kind of clam, and it can also be called flower clam, but people in their village are used to calling it sand clam because it is dug out from the beach. Although they are dug out from the beach, most of them have no sand in them, and very few cases have sand in them, so they only need to be raised for one night before they can be eaten. Use it to cook soup, or put a few sand clams when cooking noodles, not to mention how fresh it is. Those clams in the future market are not liked by the villagers. They are not as fresh as the clams they dug themselves from the sea, and the meat quality is not as good as their sand clams. And the sand clams on their beach are somewhat different from the flower clams on the market. The sand clams are of different sizes, the small ones are the size of a fingernail, and the big ones are the same as flower clams, but the small ones are also very fleshy. There are 2 high tides and 2 low tides every day. During the daily low tides, there will be children digging and playing, but there will be more people during the low tides on the 1st and 15th day of the Lunar New Year. And people in their village are used to digging outside the pier, because only on the 1st and 15th day of the Lunar New Year, the tide will recede very low, and the beach on the pier will be exposed. Usually, whether it is high tide or low tide, it is full. Whenever it is exposed, there are many sand clams to dig under the beach, and the reefs on the shore will also be exposed. On the reefs, there will be sea melon seeds, sea oysters to pry, and spicy snails to pick up. Rely on the mountains to eat the mountains, and rely on the sea to eat the sea. If you live by the sea and work harder, you won't be hungry. After arriving at the pier, they walked slowly down the steep stone slope. At this time, the tide had receded, revealing a small piece of sandy beach. There were already several women squatting there and scratching the sand. Generally, the women and children of the family do sea scouring. Yi Yaodong has never been to the beach to play since he got married, and he is not a child. He has known novelty about this beach for a long time. But after being reborn, I don't know if there is a sense of age, and his mood is different, and he feels a little fresher about this beach. He took the lead and looked at the bucket next to the women in the village. Is there something to dig? Oh, there really is. How long have you been digging? Everyone took a spatula and dug the surface of the beach, but no one paid him any attention. A man who idles around all day, think they are the same as him, wouldn't it be better if he has the time to gossip? No one paid attention to him, and Yi Yaodong was not annoyed. He saw his son squatting on the beach alone playing with sand, and then he walked back to his wife, only to see that in just a short while, there were already 6 or 7 of them in her wash basin. Sand clams. Hearing 2 ding-dongs, there were 2 more. He squatted down. You dig pretty fast. The spatula is the most practical tool for digging sand clams, bar none. Some people didn't press the wooden handle, so they took a spatula and planed there. Lin Shuqing was also holding the spatula, and she said without raising her head, practice makes perfect, and it doesn't require any skills, just plan the sand. Well, he did this a lot when he was a child. Children who grew up by the sea usually play with sand digging the most. It's all here, and he can't just watch. There is no spatula to dig, so he just uses his hands. There are small air bubble holes on the beach. Yi Yaodong picked them out casually, and they turned out to be sand clams, and he picked them out accurately. Listening to the successive ding-dong sounds in the wash basin, Lin Shuqing looked sideways, so fast. Yi Yaodong sensed her gaze, raised his eyebrows and looked. Why? Do you think I'm very good? Do you want to teach you? As he spoke, he tapped the surface of the beach with both hands, and another one. Dig into the wash basin, and said, this thing is very easy to dig. I didn't dig less when I was young. How did you get the right one? She was really curious. Although her natal family is in the next town, her area is not facing the sea and relies on mountains. Married to the seaside for several years, she always followed behind her mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and she did whatever they did. Every time she went to the sea, she followed, and everyone used a spatula to plan small pieces. It was deducted like this. Yi Yaodong pointed to the small holes at the bottom of the beach. See these? Sand clams also need to breathe. They breathe through these holes. There must be holes below. While talking, he was doing a demonstration, and took out 2 more. Buttonhole, he is very good at it. It is because the first day of the new year is approaching, and the tide on the beach at the pier has just receded, so it is so easy to dig out. The beach in the middle of the beach is not so easy. Lin Shuqing also dug out curiously, sure enough. Then why do you use a spatula? Just dig it out. With a spatula, you have to work hard to plan, and your hands will be sore after a long time. I still need to use a spatula. It's more convenient to have tools. I use my hands because I don't have a spatula. Some are on the surface and can breathe without small holes. After a while, the beach will be stepped on. You can no longer see the holes, that is, the tide has just ebbed, so you can see the air bubble holes. Lin Shuqing has been watching him and talking. For so many years, except for the period when they were just married, it was rare for them to have normal communication. He can't see the beginning and the end all day long, and when he comes back, he usually eats and sleeps, and at most has a few daily questions and answers. Most of them looked like they were fooling around, talking so solemnly for a while, and even teaching her, really made her a little uncomfortable. What are you looking at? Dig. Oh. After a while, more people came to dig clams. People these days are very hard-working, except Yi Yaodong. After just squatting for a while, he felt his legs were a little numb, so he stood up, twisted his waist and neck, and looked at the sea in the distance. Dig for a while, just show it a little bit, and don't show too much hard work. At this moment, the tide is still receding, and many small boats are parked near the pier. Because of the tide, many boats are stranded on the beach, and they can only return to the sea after the next high tide. The current time is 9:30, and today's tide should have receded to the bottom at 10:30, and then started to rise again. Every day, the rise and fall are about 50 minutes later than the day before. Although Yi Yaodong has just been reborn today, he can tell when the tide will rise and fall tomorrow just by looking at the tide. No wonder his elder brother and second brother wanted to come out to see the tide and sail the boat. As the first day of the new year approached, the tide would recede even more in the middle of the night. On the first day of the new year, the tide would recede to the bottom at 12 o'clock at night, and they would go out to sea around 1 to 2 o'clock at night. The tide must have not risen much then. The tide is not enough, and the boat cannot get out. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 9, Windfall. Chapter 9, Windfall. Yi Yaodong turned his gaze back from the boat, and looked at the surrounding rocks, which were densely packed with small mussels, small sea melon seeds, and sea oyster shells that had been dug out of their flesh. The rocks here have been visited by people too many times in daily life. The slightly larger mussels and sea melon seeds have been dug up long ago. Only the extremely small ones, about the size of the fingernail of the little finger, still grow on the rocks. The ones are so small, they only have shells, and the meat is probably not as big as booger, so they cannot be eaten, but every time the tide goes down, there will inevitably be some that grow up. Right now, there are people looking for it on the stone wall with tools, and his mother is one of them. He stepped forward and took a look. His mother was holding a water ladle in one hand, and a small basket was hanging on her wrist. There are already some small sea oysters in the water scoop, and there are also some slightly larger sea melon seeds and small spicy snails in the small basket. Mother, this dense piece of ice can blind you, why don't you dig sand clams? Yimu used a screwdriver to pry the sea oyster shells on the rock and said, there are so many people in the family who have dug enough. I can dig some sea oysters and cook sea oysters at night. The children in the family haven't eaten them for a while. There's not a single bit of this. Isn't our boat repaired? Let Dad take you to the isolated island to dig. It's better to dig sand clams now. In 2 hours, the tide will fill this beach again. It's easy for you to say. The rocks on the isolated island are very slippery, and it's not easy to stand on. If the waves come up, if I'm not careful, I will be swept back into the sea to see Mazu. Aha, no, just choose a day when the tide is calm and the tide is low. Mother Yi raised her eyelids and squinted at him. Then tell me the number of months. The weather is calm, the tide just goes down, and your father and brothers happen to be free. Ah! How can I count this? How can a mortal like him calculate the wind and waves on the sea? What's more, how does he know when his father and brother are free? Mother Yi gave him a blank look. If you don't, then shut up and stay where it's cool, and don't delay my work. Yi Yaodong touched his nose. Is he so annoying? How about I dig it for you? Are you going to dig sand clams? His legs are sore after squatting for a long time, so it's okay to dig oysters on the stone wall. Anyway, he doesn't have trypophobia. You come. Yeah, let me come. Open sea oysters, dig sea melon seeds. I am good at it. Nothing else. He played a lot of these when he was young, and the skills he learned will not be forgotten with the passage of time. Mother Yi looked him up and down, remembering that he just swore in the room that after the separation, he would learn from his elder brother and second brother to be diligent and hard-working. Could it be true? Transformed? Then let you come. When you go back, if you don't dig a bowl for me, I'll beat you to death. Oh, I can dig as much as I can. It depends on luck. How can I guarantee that I can dig a bowl before I go back? This sea oyster is only a little big. Mother Yi hung the basket on his wrist without any explanation, and stuffed the water ladle and the screwdriver into his hand. Be careful with the search. I need to pry a bowl of sea oysters, dig a bowl of sea melon seeds, and dig a bowl of snails. Get out the bowl. Yi Yaodong stared. Will he change, or can he do something? Also call him a whole 3 bowls. Dongzi didn't go out to play today. Why did he come to the beach? His aunt was also looking for the stone wall with a water ladle, and asked curiously when she saw him. Well, it's too hot to go out. Huh? Isn't it hot when you come to the beach? The sun is so big. Unable to find a good reason, Yi Yaodong was a little embarrassed. Ah, yes, just come out and have a look. Hurry up and look for it, stop chatting, dig for a while and wait for the tide to rise, just in time to go home for lunch. Sea oysters are also called oysters, which grow on stone walls. They are actually plankton. During the breeding season of oviparous sea oysters, the parent body excretes mature sperm and eggs, and the sperm and eggs are fertilized in seawater. After a period of planktonic life, they attach to other objects and become spat after solidification. Slowly grow up, pry off the shell, and there are sea oysters inside. When a ship has been docked in the sea for a long time, spat will grow under the bottom of the boat. Most people will prop up the hull of the boat, and then pry all the spat off the bottom of the boat to reduce the weight of the hull. By the way, they can also put the spat in baskets. Go back and open the oysters. The spats on the stone wall are too small, and the sea oysters that come out are only a little bit big, yellow-green, like snot, and the white on the belly can only be seen when they are bigger. Knitting yarn, it's so big. When can I fill a bowl? Yi Yaodong couldn't help muttering after opening one. There is no way to eat it. There are so many mouths in the house. It is a little bit to dig a little. This is not a sand clam, nor can it be dug out every day. His aunt responded, and then said earnestly, Dongzi, you are the father of 2 children, you can no longer just idle around all day, you should find a job, and you will support your wife and children. Well, your parents can't support you until you grow old. I'm not working, auntie. It's right to work, but you have to earn money, and you can't just work for one day. It takes years and months to support your family. You are a man, so you have to take responsibility and have a sense of responsibility. Eloquent preaching, Barabara. Yi Yaodong regretted speaking out. If he had kept silent, his aunt probably didn't have the desire to talk to him. It's not easy for him to choke back. After all, he is an elder, and what he said is right and for your own good, but the endless talking makes him feel a little dizzy. Why not dig sand clams? Know that his aunt can read so well. Auntie, you dig slowly here, I'll go out and have a look. Just as the tide receded a bit, he simply picked it up from the farthest rock. However, his luck seems to be a little bit good. As soon as he walked to the rock position closest to the tide, he saw 2 small blue crabs in the rock pile in the shallow water area ahead, and his eyes lit up. This is a good thing. He quickly put the water scoop and the basket aside, and walked quickly towards the gravel pile. Before the danger was approaching, the two blue crabs were still fighting there with their big pincers. Yi Yaodong grabbed the shells on their backs one by one in each hand, and carefully separated them so that their big foot hooks would not be entangled and broken. The value of a blue crab with a broken leg will be greatly reduced. Of course, it doesn't matter if you eat it yourself. The two blue crabs that were separated were still waving wildly with their large pincers. If they were pinched, it would be terrible, and the fingernails would directly break. End of this chapter. Back to the small fishing village in 1982. Chapter 10, Woman Cursing. Chapter 10, Woman Cursing. Looking at their abdomens, Yi Yaodong said with a smile on his face, "The two males add up to more than a catty. Today's harvest is good, and they just stewed for the children at home." He looked around and randomly found a hemp rope washed up by the sea on the rock. "Tie up the two blue crabs, hang them on the basket, and happily continue to open sea oysters and dig sea melon seeds on the stone wall." His mother must complete the tasks assigned by his mother as much as possible, otherwise he will have to listen to her ramblings again. Tomorrow the tide will recede even further, so he can go out to catch the sea. The closer to the rock outside the tide, the bigger the sea melon seeds on it. Yi Yaodong pried a few, looked at the position of the tide, and simply pulled the hem of his trousers to his thigh, planning to go a little further. There should be more outside. Most of the people who went out to search the sea today went to the sand clams, but there were not many people looking for them on the stone walls. The harvest is low, and there are people digging at low tide on the 1st and 15th day of the Lunar New Year. The growth period is only half a month, and the growth is relatively small, not as much as sand clams. Yi Yaodong walked along the rocks until the water filled his knees, then he stopped, and then slowly opened sea oysters on the stone wall with rare patience. The sea oysters pried open here are a bit bigger, and the spicy snails adsorbed on the rocks, and the sea melon seeds growing in groups are also relatively bigger. There are only mussels, and there are dense ones growing, but the size is only the size of the fingernail of the little finger, and there is no way to dig it. Everyone was working hard, and no one noticed that he came out like this, so he could dig for a while. As the tide receded little by little, he also moved out little by little. He hadn't washed the sea for decades, and his interest was completely aroused. This feeling of harvest fascinated him a little, but the sun was too hot, so he forgot to wear a straw hat when he came out. At this time, because he didn't work much, his face looked very fair, not as dark as the people on the beach. However, being exposed to the sun for a long time also made him flushed and sweat profusely. Only when his lower body was soaked in the sea water did he feel cooler. After the tide completely receded at 10:30, it began to rise slowly again after a long time. He could clearly feel the sea water rising from his knees little by little as the waves rolled up. When it reached the base of his thighs, he slowly moved forward. By the way, he took a look at the water ladle. It was 1/3 full, which was not bad. It was enough for 2 bowls of fried sea oysters, and half a basket of spicy snails and sea melon seeds. Lin Shuqing felt a little tired after squatting for a long time. Seeing that the basin was half full, she stood up, squeezed her waist, tapped her back, and glanced at her second son by the way. The little boy was sitting and playing with the sand by himself. He was so excited that his head and face were covered with sand, his drooling chest was wet, and he was playing with the sand in handfuls. They are very well behaved, some play without crying, making trouble, or looking for their mother. She looked around again, but she didn't see the figure of her man. She frowned, she really couldn't have any expectations for this man. Seeing her standing up, Mother Yi also felt a little tired, so she straightened up and planned to take a rest, but she looked over the rock, but she couldn't see Yi Yaodong, and she was annoyed. "Where did you die again? You told me well the oysters were dug for him, and in a blink of an eye he was gone." "Mother, how can you believe what Yaodong said? It's been so many years, how often have you seen him work seriously? When was it not stealthy and smooth? He did a few fake tricks, fooled him and ran away," said with a pursed mouth in disdain. "Mother Yi hates iron for being weak. Go back and let his father break his dog's legs, he has been so out of tune all day long. With grandma here, don't think about it. Mother Yi is exhausted." A good son has developed such a lazy virtue. After they are gone, he will really starve to death. Sister Yi also said, Mother, I really can't let Yao Dong stay idle like this. Who can support him for a lifetime? Xiuqing. He is a big man with hands and feet, and he relies on his wife for nothing. Don't be ashamed to panic. Second Aunt Yi continued, yes, how difficult it is for Xiuqing to be a woman to support the family. Only Xiuqing has a good temper, what other woman can bear the man at home like this? Some clam-digging women around also echoed, Dongzi is indeed too shameful. He has been married for so many years, and he is not a child anymore. It's time to talk about it, we can't let him keep doing this. Yi Yaodong came back with a full load, and just followed the tide back to the beach, when he heard a group of women gossip about him, his face turned black with anger. These 3 aunts and 6 wives, they are the only ones who have a lot of things. His wife hasn't said anything yet, but they talk a lot. What are you talking about? Where have I been? I haven't been here all the time. Everyone turned to look at him in surprise, thinking that he ran away after a while, but unexpectedly he was still there, and those gossiping people suddenly became a little embarrassed. I didn't expect to speak ill of someone behind my back, and I was caught. But there are some people who feel that they are right, and instead say confidently, Dongzi, we said those things for your own good, a man should support his family, you have been doing nothing like this, do you still expect your parents to support your wife and children, forever? Yi Yaodong looked at the speaker coldly, Aunt Chu Hua, are you worrying too much? Which eye did you see that I was doing nothing? Am I not working? Are you talking with your eyes closed? No wonder your family poor. I will cure your eyes. Anyway, he's used to being an asshole, so just go back. What nonsense, your eyes are the only ones, your family is poor, your family can't afford to build a house, you can't divide your family, you are a poor ghost, it's a shame to say that my family is poor. Aunt Chu Hua quit and stood up, with one hand on his hip, pointing at him with a spatula and the other and yelling. Now it's Mother Ye's turn to get angry, what do you mean, my son is your turn to scold me, why is my family so poor, does my family eat your rice? Your family is not poor, why are you here to scour the sea? Does this sea belong to your family? It's not for people to wash it. It's not from my family, but it's from our village. You're from the village next door, so you're ashamed to say it. My son has been working hard in the sea, and it's your turn to make irresponsible remarks. Yi Yaodong didn't speak after he just said a sentence, he just stood and watched. It's more appropriate to leave this scolding to his mother, it's a bit unseemly for him to be a big man scolding a woman. Anyway, half of the village is relatives, and his mother-in-law has never lost in momentum. There were so many people around, and after they had quarreled for a few words, the peacemaker came forward and told each of them not to say a word. It was not a big deal, it was just a few gossips. Someone was trying to smooth things over, the two glared at each other and stopped. Aunt Chu Hua felt that it was pointless to stay any longer, since the tide was about to rise anyway, so she went home with her bucket. The atmosphere also eased down. End of this chapter.